Hey guys, Aaron here. I just wanted to jump on and talk about the law of attraction and why it works in some cases for some people, or seems to work better for some people, and why it just seems that some people can't get it to work at all. Since I've been putting out these videos, the response has been overwhelming. So many people have reached out and let me know how much they appreciate the content on this channel. So that's given me the encouragement to keep it going. Thank you to everyone who's commented, who's liked, has subscribed. If you're new to this channel, I'd encourage you to check out the content. And if you like it, to hit the subscribe button, to hit the notification bell so you don't miss when I'm dropping new content, because as of right now, I still have a day job. So I may not be able to be as consistent as I would like, and I don't want you to miss new content when it comes out. So if you're a subscriber and you haven't hit the notification bell, you might want to do that too. Okay, so let's talk about why, for some people, the law of attraction doesn't work. So I've had a lot of people that have reached out to me, a lot of people that I've coached and that I've worked with in coaching or as a spiritual director or in the past as a pastor, or even whatever context, sometimes just in conversations with friends and with people that get discouraged because they've watched all the Brian Scott videos, they've read all of Neville Goddard's book, maybe they got into New Thought or other, what was that thing a few years ago, The Secret, and they start out great. This sounds good. People are talking about the results that they get. People are talking about how simple it is. I just simply imagine a better future. I imagine the outcome that I want. I get the feeling that I already have it. And as Neville Goddard says, the feeling is the secret. And then they go on and don't get results and can almost get stuck in this sort of feedback loop where you keep trying something and keep trying something and you don't get results. And every time you don't get results, the message that's sent is either that doesn't work and it's all BS, none of it works, or even worse message probably, that doesn't work for me. Maybe it works for everybody else, but for some reason, it just doesn't work for me. So let's start with this. It is really hard. I want you to think, let me back up. I want you to think about being able to manifest something with your thoughts using the law of attraction, using the laws of manifestation or whatever. I want you to think of that as a skill. And it's a skill that requires the development of qualities within ourselves, just like any other skill. And just like any other skill that's worthwhile or meaningful or valuable or powerful, it doesn't always come easy to everyone. There are some people that just have more natural ability or talent in certain areas than others. There are some people that are more physically, like athletically gifted. And so the skills required to play certain sports or to participate in certain athletic events, those skills are going to come easier to a person who has more natural athletic gifting or ability than it's going to come to someone with less gifting or ability. Someone with a great musical talent. I know people used to drive me nuts that they could just play by ear. They could just sit down, teach themselves to play piano. They could teach themselves to play guitar, play percussion, sing. It just kind of came naturally to them. But they still had to develop the skills. And so I think the same thing can be said for people who operate in the law of attraction or who operate in the psychic realms or who seem to just more naturally be able to move with the flow of consciousness or spirituality. Sometimes there's just people that they have more gifting in a certain area. But just because you don't have gifting in a certain area or a natural inclination to these qualities that I'm going to talk about does not mean that you cannot manifest stuff and that you cannot get the law of attraction to work for you. What I'm trying to point out is that like any skill, it takes time to develop. And like any skill, there's going to be some trial and error. There's going to be some failures that happen. And oftentimes there's a need for coaching or feedback from someone who has been there and done that or taught others to do it or whatever the case may be. Think about it this way. It's very hard to just read books about a practical, important skill and then just develop it from reading the books without having other people in your life to give you feedback or to give you coaching. But also, that's not to say that you can't do it. You certainly can. That's where I started. But you have to understand that there's this trial and error process so that you don't get stuck in this feedback loop of, well, that stuff just doesn't work. There must not be anything to that. And it certainly doesn't work. Or if it works for others, it certainly doesn't work for me. So let's talk about what are 3 qualities that we have to develop in order to make the law of attraction work for us, in order to manifest stuff. And these 3 qualities are going to work in other areas of your life as well. But I think there are 3 primary qualities that we need to develop in order to cultivate the skills to make the law of attraction work. The first one is will. We have to have a strong will. We have to have a determination, a determined purpose for why we're doing this and what we're doing it for. And with will, then, and we have to have the will to stick with the process, to not give up easily, to make a determination, a quality decision, a settled decision that I'm going to have this thing that I want to manifest. Or it could just be a settled decision, maybe starting with this, a settled decision that I'm absolutely going to learn how to make the law of attraction work for me in my life. So will is the first thing. The second thing then is desire. Let's be honest. If you don't desire something strongly enough, if you don't want something passionately enough, you certainly are not going to be able to commit the willpower to bringing that, maintaining the will. That's what I want to say. I kind of lost my train of thought there, but maintaining your will, desire is necessary. You have to have a desire, and it has to be an authentic desire. A lot of people short circuit the process because they're worried about whether or not their desire is good, or if they should have it, or if they shouldn't have it, or if it's the will of God, or whatever, right? So you need to find those authentic desires. You need to find those passions. So will, desire, and then the third one you have to have, and this one's an absolute essential quality that we must develop if we're going to make the law of attraction work for us and if we're going to be able to manifest stuff, and that is belief. Solid, strong belief. So will, desire, and belief. Now, here's the mistake that I see a lot of people make. They will learn about the law of attraction, and they will think about very specific things that they want to attract or manifest into their lives. It might be a new job, it might be a new car, it might be a new house, it could be a new relationship or a soulmate, or it could be health or healing in their bodies. But usually they're really focused out here on changing something circumstantially in their life, in the objective universe. And they'll sit down and do something like maybe going to sleep at night. They'll start to imagine that that reality is theirs, that that scenario is theirs. Maybe they want to live in a certain city, or they want to live in a different country, or they want to live in a different kind of house. They might vividly imagine walking through the house or living in that country. And then they'll try to capture the feeling that they already have it. Now, these are really good things to do. That's a really good thing to do when you are getting ready to go to sleep, because the gateways between the conscious mind and the subconscious mind are more open before you go to sleep. And so you've got much better odds and much better chances of reprogramming your subconscious mind while doing those kinds of exercises. But here's the thing. I want you to think about this. I want you to imagine that the law of attraction, wanting to manifest, is like a sower who goes out to sow seed and plants a seed in the garden, and then tends to that seed and waits for it to grow, waits for it to mature. And you can imagine that the garden is the garden of your consciousness, the garden of your feelings, the garden of your thoughts, because it's your thoughts and your feelings and your behavior. It's your will, desire, and belief that you're going to use to bring this thing into your life. So let's say you want that new house, or let's say you want that new car. And so you sit there and imagine the new house, you sit there and imagine the new car, and you're planting it into the soil of your heart. But now, if you know anything about gardening, if you know anything about farming or anything about planting, there's a lot that has to go right for that plant to come to maturity. It can't just be the soil. It can't just be the seed. The environment itself is very important. And so here's the point that I want to get to. The number one reason that I think that people struggle to make the law of attraction work for them is because they plant the seed of their intention, they plant the seed of their desire, they plant the seed of their will and their belief, the thing that they want to manifest, but they're planting it in an environment where it cannot prosper. In other words, you could have a plant and you could put it in good soil, and you could put it in a dark room, and you could water that plant every day and every night. But if it doesn't get the sunlight, if it doesn't get those other essential elements, nothing's going to happen. It's not going to prosper. So what is the environment? What is the environment in our lives when it comes to these kinds of things? And I want to talk about the environment being sort of an overall attitude that you have, an attitude that you have, or a disposition that you have, or about yourself, about the world, or about others. So we have all kinds of different beliefs, depending on what our experiences were growing up, depending on how much trauma we experienced in our childhood, depending on a lot of different things, right, in our personal history. We can have all kinds of clusters of beliefs and attitudes and feelings about the world in general. See, one of the things that we teach with the law of attraction is that you need to be specific, at least somewhat specific, in the thing that you're requesting. But what we don't teach enough, I don't think, is that there needs to be an overall general positive outlook or attitude about a lot of different things in our lives, about ourselves, about our capabilities, about the world in general. And we don't place enough emphasis on focusing on just generally bringing good things into your life. Think about the difference between, I want to get healed of my slipped disc in my neck, which I dealt with quite a bit over the last year. Or it could be, I want to be healed of my gout, or I want to be healed of this cold, or I want to be healed of cancer, whatever the case may be. But you're not cultivating daily just this sort of general attitude towards, I want to generally be in good health, or I want to manifest a certain car, or I want to manifest a certain house, but I haven't developed a belief system where I generally believe that wealth can come to me, that I have the power to get wealth, that I can make money, that good things happen to me, that I allow for good things to come into my life. And daily, I do things that make my life better and better. See, that's the atmosphere, really. That's the climate in which we operate the law of attraction with effectiveness and with success. So instead of just starting out with a specific outcome that you want to manifest, and then trying to use what you've been taught to manifest that specific outcome, you may have to look at the overall climate of your mental and emotional well-being. And you may have to say, I need to change this climate. See, if you're generally a cynical, skeptical person, if you're from the state of Missouri, you're from the show me state, you got to show me, I got to see the evidence, I got to see the proof first. I got to try this and see this work for me because I'm just overly skeptical and I'm overly cynical and I'm an overthinker. And so I have a lot of doubts and I have a lot of skepticism. That's not the right environment for these principles to work. That's not the right environment for manifestation or for the law of attraction. Or if you're just a generally kind of bitter person and you think people are just nasty and horrible and they're just always, always out to get one over on you, or the systems are just generally against you, and it's, you look out and you just see a dark world because of your belief about people, or even your beliefs about evil, even your spiritual beliefs about evil. There's so much evil out there. There's so much darkness. There's so many conspiracies. And you develop this sort of jaded view about humanity, or a jaded view about systems, or a jaded view about politics. Not the right environment for these things to work in your life. Of course, they're not going to work. You could plant the seed. You could do everything perfectly, but you're doing exactly like what I just said. You're planting the seed. You're watering the plant, but you've got it stuck in a dark, cold closet someplace. It's not going to grow. So cultivating a generally positive, generally peaceful attitude and atmosphere in your life with your daily thinking is the first thing to do if you want the law of attraction to work for you. Now, how do I do that? Well, this is where will and desire and belief come in. First of all, you have to believe that it's possible for you. You got to quit making excuses for yourself. You got to quit saying, well, you don't know what I've been through. You got to quit connecting with your past, connecting with your heritage. Well, my mom was a champion warrior. Well, I'm Scotch Irish, and we just have a temper and tend to think negatively at times about different things. Or I've been whipped by the system before. I've been given injustice has been given out to me by even the legal system and whatever before. And so you kind of just develop, it's really easy to develop this overall sort of cynical, negative victim mindset. So you're going to have some desire to change that. You may need to get into therapy. You may need to get into coaching. You may need to do some trauma work. Start there. If you're struggling with a lot of depression and anxiety, find a good therapist who specializes in treating depression, in treating anxiety, and then cultivate your will, desire, and belief towards changing your attitudes, changing your outlook about life, changing your outlook about people, and creating an atmosphere where the law of attraction can work for you. So I hope this short video helped you out. Please comment in the comment section. Let me know if you liked it or if you didn't. And until next time, this is Aaron Tomlinson from Change the name of the channel, by the way. This is the first video I've done since I've changed the name of the channel. But this is Aaron Tomlinson from Conscious Spirituality. Whatever is happening in your life, I hope that you're blessed. I hope that you're peaceful, and I hope that you're well. And thank you so much for watching this all the way to the end. And don't forget to subscribe, hit the like button, comment, and most importantly, turn on those notifications.